You all saw the title, you clicked on it, you know what we're talking about today. Following the shadow drop of a trailer that is the Xenoblade Chronicles X trailer, Nintendo decided that it would be a good idea the next day to do the exact same thing again and shadow drop yet another trailer, which is for the Nintendo Music app, which is basically an app that lets you listen to their music on your phone with the help of the Nintendo Switch Online subscription. It is not just a little thing that Nintendo did, honestly. It is quite a big thing. It has been years since people are demanding Nintendo to release their songs either on Spotify or other music apps. I know that Nintendo wants you to think that it's just a cool feature to help sell the Nintendo Switch Online, but it's much more than that. Do you know the struggle we had to go through to listen to Nintendo OSTs or Nintendo music on the go? You had multiple options. Really cumbersome options or annoying options, but you have multiple ones. First options I would do is whip out a Switch, whip out a copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and have an auxiliary cable. You would either have to put it in your Switch and then put it on whatever device accepts auxiliary cables nowadays, because let's be honest, there is not a lot of device that uses it. So you had to plug it in your car, put the music mode on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and then listen to Nintendo music, create your playlist in advance, because there's no way to easily change songs or stuff like that on a Nintendo Switch. Even though it's touch controls, the UI is not designed for you to be able to listen to music that way. Second thing with that method is, if you were in a bus, you would have to do the same thing, probably buy an adapter for your phone, because let's be honest, no phone nowadays uses auxiliary entry. There is no Switch case that allows you to close it and have an aux cable plugged in. You had to open your case, have it on your lap, have your cell phone plugged into it. It would be super cumbersome, not really intuitive. You would look kind of stupid, to be honest, just to listen to Nintendo music on the go. Second option would be YouTube, which is unfortunately not really legal, in a way that you're listening to playlists that people made that are not Nintendo playlists. In a way, is just people that decided to put Nintendo music on a playlist, which is honestly copyrighted music. So first of all, you're not breaking the law because you're just listening to the playlist and it's a YouTube video, but still, it's a little bit stupid. And then, since I don't have YouTube Premium because I'm a fucking brokey, I would have to keep my phone opened. It would drain my batteries and it would just be not worth it, because whenever I would arrive at work, I would have lost all my battery. Yes, I could have bring a charger, blah blah, I know, but still, it was just not a great option. Or you could do like my dumbass and just decide to go through bad Spotify playlists or remixes that people made in order to get away from the copyrighted laws, which honestly sounded terrible, and it was not a good option. So I pretty much gave up on that front, unfortunately. The one thing I would give Spotify though is the video game music selection is really great on it for third parties or for indie games. If I can give an example, we have the entire Persona 3, 4, and 5 soundtrack. We have the entire Sonic soundtrack. We have pretty much the entire Castlevania soundtrack on it. We have soundtracks like Undertale's, Celeste's, Eastward, and much more, but it is still missing Nintendo music, which is honestly my favorite. I know that the Pokemon Company decided to release the Diamond and Pearl soundtrack for a limited time a couple of years ago, but still, I did not grow up with this game. I did not play this game growing up, so unfortunately for me, I was not really interested in those tracks, but I listened to the entire album once or twice, and it's still a Nintendo thing to do, to release something for a limited time just for people to jump on it, be like, oh my god, I need to watch it right now, because or else it's gonna disappear forever and I'm never gonna be able to listen to it ever again. It's not the first time that Nintendo does that, unfortunately. They've done it with Mario 3D All-Star, they've done it with this game actually, which unfortunately nobody talks about. It's Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. which is actually a remake of the NES game, which is the first game in the franchise. It's actually a nice idea that Nintendo did. They actually localized a 30-year-old game in English for the first time, and they decided to remove it after a year for no reason, and nobody talks about it because it is not Mario, unfortunately. But I'm getting off topic here. So whenever Nintendo announced that the app was coming, I was so happy about it, like so stoked. I've honestly been waiting for an app like that my entire adult life, and I'm not even exaggerating. So I've been playing around the app for a couple days now. I'm actually taking public transport to go to work, so I'm approximately doing like an hour and a half and 2 hours of public transport in my day to go to work. So I've had a lot of time to use it, and I've used it at work since I work at a video game store. So without further ado, I have some good things about it and I have some bad things about it. So let's get this started. So first of all, what I really like about the app is its overlay. I feel like it looks a lot like Spotify. It looks really similar. It's clean looking. It's not too complicated to go through. I do think that the app is made for playlists in mind. It is clear from the start that everything that you are going to be listening to are playlists in a way. You have the options to search games by title and stuff like that. They're a little bit more tucked away in the app. So Nintendo, I think they really want to focus on the fact that they're created playlists for you to listen to mix and match songs or a genre that they think that fits together with different games, which is really nice. Honestly, it helped me discover some tracks that I didn't even know existed, that I did not even know that I would like. Some Fire Emblem track. I love the Fire Emblem games, but the music has not captivated me that much in a way. But with the playlist, it helped me enjoy some of the tracks that I would never search on my own and listen to on my own. This is a really cool feature that I think the app succeeds in. One thing that I don't like about the app right now is the fact that in order to search by game title, you have to scroll down the entire app and then click on it. And then after that, there's another menu that pops up, and then you click on the video game that you want to choose from, and then there's another menu that pops up. It feels a little bit too complicated to search tracks by their own. But other than that, I feel like the app is really good looking. It looks a little bit like the free version of Spotify, but without all the bad things that the free version of Spotify brings you. Like, for example, as I said before, it is really focused on playlists, but you can actually save your songs. You can put them in a playlist of your own. You can skip them. You can extend the length of your songs too, which is such a cool feature that I wish other streaming app would do. You can extend it to, I think, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. It loops, but it works in the context that it's a video game track. So usually when you're in the overworld of Twilight Princess per se, Hyrule Field will loop over and over and over again without you knowing. The song is designed that way. It kind of feels like if you were playing the video game in a way, which I think is an amazing feature, honestly. Another thing that I like about the app is whenever you select a track, you have a little screenshot of the game. If I take for example Saria's song, you'll have a screenshot of Saria teaching you the song, or if you're doing the minecart level on Donkey Kong Country, you'll have the actual minecart level as a screenshot for your track. I think it's a really nice touch. It gives you the context of the song. It gives you where the song would be in the game. They didn't have to do it. Some titles don't have it, like Mario Odyssey is just the box art, which is completely fine to me. But the fact that they've added like that little screenshot to tell you like, oh, that was the moment when the song played, I think it's just a really neat feature. I really do like the fact that you can create your own playlist. I know it's not an amazing feature, you know, like Nintendo are usually the ones that are gonna release a cool thing, but they're gonna restrict it in their own way, which I don't really like usually. But now I feel like we have freedom with the app. We can do pretty much whatever we want, though it is still focused on the fact that Nintendo wants you to only listen to playlists, and it's kind of tucked away the fact that you can search by game title, which honestly you get used to it. It's a little bit annoying at times, but still you can create playlists, you can extend your tracks, which is really fun. There's a really neat feature that is just, I would never use it because I don't really care, but you can hide the spoilers in the game. So by example, if you have a boss fight and there's a certain track attached to that boss fight, if you click that option, so you're actually never going to hear that soundtrack because it might spoil the game either with the screenshot or with the song itself or with the title of the song itself. So they've made it so if you don't want to get spoiled, if you haven't played the game yet but you still want to enjoy the soundtrack, you can actually skip spoilers, so the song will not be in the track selection, which is honestly just, they went out of their way to do that, which is a really cool feature, honestly. So now let's talk about song selections or game selections per se. Nintendo went all out. I'm gonna be honest with you, I am really impressed with the catalog that they've included for the first batch of songs that they've added to the music app, because we know now, yesterday or the day before that, they added Mario Wonder to it, so they confirmed that they're gonna add songs or albums over time. But for the initial ones, they went all out. They went retro, they went modern, they went in between. They did everything that I hoped they would have done, honestly. So we have albums like the OG Metroid, we have albums like Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy, we have Donkey Kong Country, which is my favorite soundtrack of all time, we have Yoshi's Island, Star Fox 64, we have Ocarina of Time. Do you know how big this is? Ocarina of Time. Now I can just whip out my phone and listen to the entire Ocarina of Time OST. We have Metroid Prime, we have the Nintendo Wii channel, which the Wii Shop music and stuff like that is there inside. We have some newer titles like Kirby Star Allies, Super Mario Odyssey, which is a really good soundtrack. We have Breath of the Wild. We're probably gonna have Tears of the Kingdom. It just gives me something to look out for. Like, you know, usually in Nintendo Directs, you know, they can announce the fact that they're gonna add games, or sometimes on their Twitter, or they just shadow drop things like they just did recently for two things that are absolutely huge. Now they can just shadow drop the fact that they've added Majora's Mask, which is my favorite game of all time. They're gonna add the soundtrack. It just gives me something to look forward to, and I think for the first time ever, I'm getting something out of the Nintendo Switch online subscription. I've never been the person to trash on it per se, but I always felt like it was lacking. I think for the price that you pay, it is still worth it, even though the online is really bad on Switch. But the fact that you can play retro games, the fact that you can play N64, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, NES, SNES, it's honestly amazing. But now that they've added this on top of it, for me, it is absolutely worth it. It is absolutely worth the price of what they're asking for. All right, to wrap this up, I'm really impressed with the app. I know I have some gripes on it. The fact that you have to find your track selection through games is a little bit cumbersome. Sometimes the UI can be a little bit confusing. The main focus is playlist, but once you get used to it, it's really not that complicated. And I think it is a godsend for me that only listens to video game music. That's the only thing I listen to, and that's the only thing I like to listen to. I'm obsessed with video game music. I'm obsessed with the feeling that it gives me whenever I play that video games, and then I re-listen to that track, because whenever I re-listen to that track, I get into the moment of where I was in the game. You know, I don't know why, but it gives me such a nice feeling. So overall, I'm really impressed with it. I'm 100% going to spend hours upon hours upon hours on the app. I'm going to be listening to, I'm going to be obsessed for months on end on the app. That's the only thing I'm going to listen to for the next months. That's for sure. I'm going to play it in my store. I'm going to play it in my bus drive. I'm going to put it in my girlfriend's car whenever we drive around. That's the only thing I'm going to do. And I won't shut up about it. That's the thing, because I love video game music. I love Nintendo music. It is my favorite music of all time. I'm so happy that we have an app like this. I've been honestly waiting my whole life for an app like this. I'm really happy. So guys, if you liked what you saw today, please do consider liking the video, subscribing, clicking that notification bell. It helps a lot. I stream 4 days a week or 5 days a week. It depends on the weeks, but I stream a lot on my YouTube channel. I stream a lot on my Twitch channel too. So channels will be linked down below. If you like what you see, again, please do consider subscribing to those channels at the same time. And on that note, thank you for watching through the end. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys sharing that passion with me. Let me know what you think down in the comments about the app, because I want to know if I'm the only one that thinks it is a good thing, or if you think it's a bad thing or anything. Just let me know down in the comments. And with that, I will say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.